Before you say you don't have enough space, I need you to stop, because I'm about to completely rewrite everything you think you know about growing fruit. Right now, in someone's apartment in Chicago, someone's rooftop in Houston, someone's 6-foot balcony in Seattle, fruit trees are producing hundreds of dollars worth of food in pots. Drop your location in the comments right now. Tell me your city and your USDA hardiness zone, because by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly which of these 10 trees will grow where you live, even if you've never grown anything in your life. And number 3 on this list, it once kept an entire civilization alive during a famine. Let's go. Welcome back. If you're new, hit subscribe right now, because this is the channel where we grow real food in real spaces without breaking the bank.
Number 10. Pomegranate. Here's a fact that should stop you cold. Pomegranates have been grown by humans for over 5,000 years. They're mentioned in the Old Testament, the Quran, ancient Egyptian burial texts, and yet most Americans have never grown one. That ends today. The dwarf varieties, Nana, State Fair, Wonderful, are almost offensively easy to grow in containers. Their root systems are naturally compact. Unlike most fruit trees that want to send roots 20 feet in every direction, the pomegranate is perfectly content in a 15 to 20-gallon pot. And here's the part that sticks with people. Pomegranate trees can live to be 200 years old. The tree you plant this spring could outlive your grandchildren. One mature container pomegranate gives you 15 to 30 fruits per season. At current grocery store prices, you're saving $50 to $75 a year. But more than the savings, you're growing something that humans have treasured since the Bronze Age, on your balcony, in a pot. Zone tip. Pomegranates love heat. Zones 7 to 11 are ideal outdoors. In zones 5 and 6, bring them inside before the first frost. They'll survive in a garage near a window and come back swinging every spring.
Number 9. Fig. Most fruit trees hate being root-bound. The fig is the exception. When you put a fig in a container, you are giving it exactly the conditions it was designed to thrive in. And the result is something almost unnatural, a small tree exploding with fruit. Here's the science. When a fig's roots hit the walls of a pot, it triggers a survival response. The tree shifts its energy from root expansion to reproduction, which means fruit. More fruit, earlier fruit. I've seen a single container fig, a petite negra in a 15-gallon pot, produce over 100 fruits in one season. That is not a typo. Varieties like petite negra and Chicago hardy are built for container life. And here's why Chicago hardy deserves its own moment. This fig survives winters that would kill most other figs. It dies back to the roots, and it comes back. And because figs fruit on new growth, it still gives you a harvest that same year. Death and resurrection in one growing season. Zone tip. Chicago hardy pushes into zone 5. In colder zones, the container is your superpower. Bring it in before deep frost, let it go dormant in a cool basement or garage, and put it back out in spring.
Number 8. Blueberries. Most people who try to grow blueberries fail. And almost every single time, it comes down to one number, pH. Blueberries need acidic soil, between 4.5 and 5.5 on the pH scale. Regular potting mix sits around 6.5 to 7. That gap is the difference between a thriving plant and a struggling, yellowing mess. But here's the twist. When you grow in containers, you control the soil completely. Mix standard potting mix with peat moss, or use an azalea and rhododendron mix, and suddenly you have something most commercial blueberry farms spend thousands of dollars engineering, in a pot that you mixed yourself. Top Hat and Peach Sorbet stay under 3 feet tall. They're gorgeous. The fall foliage alone is worth it. And one mature plant gives you 3 to 5 pounds of berries per season. Organic blueberries run $5 to $7 a pound right now. One plant, one season, pays for itself.
Zone tip. Most varieties need chill hours, a certain number of hours below 45 degrees Fahrenheit in winter to trigger fruiting. If you're in zone 9 or 10, choose low chill varieties like Sunshine Blue or O'Neill. Quick pause. If you're learning something new here, smash that like button. It tells YouTube this video is worth sharing, and it helps this channel reach more people who want to grow their own food. Now, number 7. This one surprised even me.
Number 7. Meyer lemon. There is no other fruit tree on this planet that looks like a Meyer lemon in full production. On the exact same branch, you will see white blossoms, tiny green fruits, half-ripe yellowing lemons, and fully ripe fruit, all at once. It is permanently in multiple seasons at the same time. It is the closest thing to a perpetual motion machine that nature has produced. Meyer lemons are naturally semi-dwarf, but more importantly, they're ever-bearing. One established tree produces 50 to 100 lemons per year. If you're buying a lemon every time a recipe calls for one, do the math on what that saves you. But here's what nobody tells you: the smell. When a Meyer lemon blooms, and it blooms multiple times a year, your entire patio smells like a citrus grove in the Mediterranean. That scent alone is worth owning one of these trees. It changes the feeling of the space. Zone tip. Meyer lemons are happy outdoors year-round in zones 9 to 11. In zones 7 and 8, protect them from hard freezes. In zones 6 and below, the pot is your lifeline. Bring them inside near the sunniest window in your house. They'll reward you.
Number 6. Dwarf peach. Peaches were so valuable in ancient China that they were considered magical. Emperors gave them as gifts. Warriors carried peach wood as protection against evil spirits. The peach traveled the Silk Road for centuries before reaching Europe, and now you can grow one in a pot on your deck. Varieties like Bonanza and El Dorado were specifically bred for containers. They stay 5 to 6 feet tall, they're self-pollinating, and they produce full-sized, full-flavored peaches. Not miniature versions, real peaches. Here's the thing about store-bought peaches that should make you angry. They're picked underripe. They have to be. They need to survive days of shipping and handling. That fruit on the shelf was never allowed to reach its potential. Your tree-ripened peach, it's a completely different food. 20 to 40 peaches per season from one dwarf tree. At organic prices, you're looking at real savings. But what you can't put a price on is biting into something that tastes the way peaches were always supposed to taste. Zone tip. Most peach varieties need chill hours. They thrive in zones 5 through 8. In warmer zones, look specifically for low chill varieties. The pot gives you frost protection. Cover or bring in during surprise late freezes. Number 5. Dwarf cherry. Every gardener who has ever planted a full-size cherry tree knows the heartbreak. You wait years for fruit. The tree finally blooms, and then, within 48 hours of ripening, the birds find it. Every last cherry gone. It is one of the most demoralizing experiences in all of home growing. Container cherries solve this problem permanently. When your tree is in a pot on your patio, you throw bird netting over it in 5 minutes. Try doing that with a 20-foot tree in your yard. It can't be done. The container gives you control that full-size tree owners will envy. Romeo and Juliet are the varieties to know. These are pie cherry types, tart, deeply flavored, and they're bulletproof, hardy to zone 3. And honestly, fresh Juliet cherries eaten straight off the tree are extraordinary. One mature container cherry gives you 10 to 15 pounds of fruit per season. Cherries hit $8 to $10 per pound at peak season. Your one tree is producing well over $100 worth of fruit every year. Zone tip: Romeo and Juliet are among the most cold-hardy fruiting plants you can grow, zones 3 through 8. They need chill hours, so they're actually better suited to cold climates than warm ones. Number 4. Columnar apple tree. In 1976, a Canadian orchardist noticed something strange. One branch on a Macintosh apple tree was growing differently. Straight up,
barely any side branches, covered in full-sized fruit spurs. He took cuttings, and from that one weird branch, an entirely new category of apple tree was born, the columnar apple. These trees grow straight up like a post, 8 to 10 feet tall, barely 2 feet wide. You can fit 4 of them on a small balcony. You can line them up in containers along a fence and turn a dead space into a working orchard. No other fruit tree does what these trees do. North Pole and Golden Sentinel are the names to know. Full-sized apples, crisp, juicy, real, 15 to 25 per tree per season. And here's a savings angle nobody talks about. Apples store. You harvest in September and October, store them properly in a cool spot, and you're eating fresh apples through December or January. Your tree keeps paying you long after the season ends. Zone tip. Columnar apples do best in zones 4 through 9. Most varieties need a pollinator nearby, but that pollinator can be another columnar apple in an adjacent pot. So 2 containers sitting side by side is all you need. The sticky line. You can fit an entire apple orchard on a balcony that is smaller than most people's living rooms. We're about to hit the top 3, and I promise you, these are the ones that are going to blow your mind. Before we get there, drop your zone in the comments if you haven't yet. I genuinely check the comments, I respond, and it helps me make videos that are actually useful for where you live. All right, top 3. Let's go. Number 3, strawberries. During the 100 Years' War, wild strawberries growing in French fields were one of the primary food sources for soldiers who had nothing else. This small, unassuming fruit has fed starving armies. It has been carried across oceans as a luxury. And right now, it might be the single most productive fruit you can grow in a container. Ever-bearing varieties, like Albion, Seascape, and Ozark Beauty, produce from late spring through the first frost. Not a single harvest, continuous harvest. 6 to 8 plants in a properly maintained container will give you fresh berries almost every day during peak season. Store-bought strawberries are one of the most chemically treated crops in American agriculture. They're on the Dirty Dozen list every year. Your container strawberries can be completely organic, grown exactly the way you want them and eaten within minutes of being picked. The flavor difference isn't subtle, it's shocking. The other thing about strawberries, they're self-replicating. The best plants send out runners, new plants genetically identical to the parent. You pot those up and your collection grows. After the first year, your strawberry setup costs you almost nothing. Zone tip: strawberries grow in every zone from 3 to 10, but variety selection matters. For hot climates, zones 8 to 10, choose heat-tolerant varieties like Seascape. For cold climates, Ozark Beauty and Fort Laramie are incredibly hardy. Number 2, avocado. Avocados are the second most valuable fruit crop in the world by retail price. The global avocado market is worth over $13 billion. And in the United States, the average household spends hundreds of dollars on avocados every single year for a fruit that, in the right conditions, grows on a tree that can live for decades. I know what you're thinking. Avocados don't grow in pots. Let me stop you there. Dwarf varieties, Wurtz and Little Cato specifically, absolutely fruit in containers. I'm not talking about the avocado pit you sprouted on your windowsill in 4th grade. I'm talking about grafted, named varieties that are designed to fruit in confined spaces. Yes, avocados take patience, 3 to 4 years before significant fruiting. But here's the question you need to ask yourself. 3 to 4 years from now, are you still going to be buying avocados? If the answer is yes, and it almost certainly is, then the real question is why you haven't already planted one. One tree can produce 20 to 30 avocados per year once established. At $2 to $4 per avocado at the store, that's $40 to $120 of fruit annually for 20 years or more from one tree in a container. Zone tip: avocados love warmth. Zones 9 to 11 are their happy place outdoors. In cooler zones, the container is essential. You can bring them inside during cold snaps.
This is how people in Zone 7 and even Zone 6 are successfully growing avocados right now. Number 1. Banana. Bananas are the 4th largest agricultural crop on Earth. Over 100 billion bananas are consumed globally every year. They are the most traded fruit in the world, and virtually nobody is growing them at home. Even though growing a banana plant in a container is not only possible, it might be the single most rewarding thing you ever do in a small space garden. Dwarf Cavendish and super dwarf are the varieties that make this work. In a large container, 25 gallons or more, with rich soil, consistent moisture, and warmth, these plants will produce a genuine bunch of bananas. 50 to 100 bananas from a potted plant on your porch. Here's what makes bananas number 1 on this list. Nothing else on this list creates the experience that a banana plant creates. The leaves alone are architectural, some 6 feet long. Then comes the flower, a massive, alien, purple and red structure hanging down like nothing else in the plant kingdom. And then, slowly, the fruit forms. And when you cut that bunch, there is genuinely no gardening experience like it. In colder climates, you bring them inside before hard frost. They go semi-dormant, then back outside when temperatures warm. They pup, sending up new shoots from the base, so one plant becomes many. Those pups can be potted up, given away, or yes, sold. Banana plants are in demand. Zone tip. Bananas fruit outdoors year-round in zones 9 to 11. In zones 7 to 8, they may die back to the ground in winter, but return in spring. Though fruiting is more reliable if you pot them and bring them in before hard frost. In zones 5 to 6, container growing with winter indoors is the path. Before I let you go, I need to tell you the one thing that ties all of this together. The thing that took my container garden from average to producing more than I can eat. It costs almost nothing. Most people have never thought about it for container growing. Mulch. 2 to 3 inches of wood chips or straw on top of the soil in every single container you have. Here's what it does. It regulates soil temperature. Roots stay cooler in summer, warmer in winter. It retains moisture. You water less, your trees stress less. And it slowly breaks down and feeds your plants organic matter season after season. Call a local tree service and ask for wood chips. Most of them will give them to you free. They're trying to get rid of them. You're getting gold. The sticky line? The most important thing in your container garden costs nothing and takes 5 minutes. That gap between knowing it and doing it is where most people lose. So there you have it. 10 fruit trees and 1 honorary fruit that prove you do not need acres of land to grow your own food. You need the right plants, the right knowledge, and the right setup. Whether you're in a Zone 4 in Minnesota or a Zone 10 in South Florida, there are plants on this list for you. Drop your zone in the comments and tell me which one you're starting with. I read every comment, genuinely. And if you got value from this video, if it changed the way you think about what's possible in your space, share it with one person. A friend, a neighbor, someone in a Facebook gardening group. You never know whose whole growing journey starts with a video like this. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. Ring that bell, and I will see you in the next one. Now go grow something.